All right. Good morning and welcome everybody to the Never Stop Healing podcast. This is your host of the day, Cade Archibald, and really excited to be hanging out with everyone today. We got Regan Archibald here, founder, creator of East West Health and the Accelerate Wellness programs. Regan, how's it going?
It's going great. How you doing?
Doing awesome. I'm still just really pumped on last night's hack. We had the Health Accelerator challenges. If you're not a part of that community, everybody, make sure you go to acueastwest.com/hack and get signed up for that and be a part of this Accelerate Wellness movement and community. Had an awesome challenge that we put together yesterday. And the content that Tristan, we got an amazing fitness expert and extraordinaire and trainer in Tristan Sligowski. He is just rock solid. So he was presenting on some different movements and more around exercise studies. And yeah, so if you're not getting some good exercise in every day, get some. Yeah, that was awesome. So we got some good challenges around exercise this week.
Yeah, we did. And so the other thing that we're going to cover today is we had Dr. Bob Borelli and Dr. Stephanie Coleman on. And one of the cool things that we're launching are these really cool retreats. And so today I want to talk a little bit about our peak state retreats and what those look like. And then I want to give you guys just a little sample into, for those of you who are in the Accelerate Wellness program or you're considering becoming a member of the Accelerate Wellness program, I'm going to share with you an interview that I did with a good friend of mine who's also in our program, in the Accelerate Wellness program, Mike Koenigs. And so today should be pretty interesting, but let's talk about the retreats first. So how many of you would love to have access to your subconscious mind? Or you're wondering, what am I leaving on the table when it comes to energy, when it comes to vitality, when it comes to overall digestion? There's so many things that we just do on a day-to-day basis that are subconscious. I mean, how many of you drove to work this morning, for example, or just got up and did your routine? You went to the bathroom and you brushed your teeth and you didn't really think much about it. Well, our life is comprised of little blocks of time where we're segmenting our activities and our actions and the habits that we have. Sometimes we don't even realize that we have, or we don't understand why we react a certain way to different emotional stimuli. And I think one of the beautiful things that we're doing on these retreats is day one's going to help you access the subconscious mind. And then day two is going to help you actually put things into action from a physical perspective. So we're going to change your physiology. And I think, one of the beautiful things you'll see is that as you do that, you'll start recognizing that you're getting your energy levels back and you're starting to feel like yourself again. And you didn't even realize that you'd left who you were. One of my favorite mentors is Dan Sullivan, as you guys have heard him on our show multiple times. But he always says that his life, now that he looks back, he says, I'm becoming more and more like my 6-year-old self the older I get. That's because not that he's like doing some ridiculous things, but as his 6-year-old self, he was very interested in humans and asked a lot of questions. And that's still his that's what he does, is he asks questions and looks for answers to that. And so one of the things that we're doing in our peak experience retreats is allowing you to access that part of you that probably got swallowed up as you became an adult. And so I think it'll be really fun. But Cade, what were some of your insights on the show we did with Dr. Bob and Stephanie last week?
I think like the biggest takeaway for me is like we get in I think traditional medicine looks at like what's like the physiological problem, and there's got to be kind of just like it's just a little more surface level. Just looking at, what, and even in like functional medicine, we get deep, but it's all lab based. But just tapping into, okay, what's someone's mental state, and really getting deep into like what's someone's mindset, what's some of their beliefs that they started out with when they were 6 years old, or even younger, and how has that maybe created some either health problem manifestations, or it can be just some limiting beliefs, or hitting ceilings, and you open up your mind, and man, there's a lot of possibilities there. So yeah, it was really cool, really exciting to hear kind of what's happening in that space. And I think they've just created a really safe way to just really expand the mind and the mindset.
Yeah. So how many of you want to learn about this opportunity? Because it's a brand new opportunity.
Yeah.
And so I'll share it with you, because I think, we've been, Dr. Bob and I we've met, I think we've had like 4 different long meetings where I've gone through the certainty, uncertainty tool. What do we know? What do we not know over the last year? And so I've probably spent a good part of 40, maybe 50 hours on this project. And so now we're unrolling it, and we are going to be launching our very first retreat. We've got 2 dates. We've got the first weekend in December, and we're doing these on a Wednesday afternoon and then all day Thursday. And so our first one right now, we're looking at November, but I think it's going to be that first week in December. So what a better time than right before the big holidays. The highest number of people who have heart attacks is on Christmas. Isn't that crazy? It's the most stressful day for so many people, and so let's avoid some of that. We have a policy at East West, no death by surprises, and so one of the things we want to roll out is let's just reboot your brain, reboot your body. And so we're going to be doing this, and this is the East West Peak State Retreat experience. So the big thing we're doing is we're helping get your energy back. So we want you to be you, because you're a beautiful human. And so the big promise that we have for this is that you'll have the capability of not only getting rid of some of those subconscious drivers that are no longer serving you and upgrading your belief system, but the secondary impact you're going to have is we're going to do a massive reset on your physiology. So as we go through this, we'll explain everything that's going to happen, because in our society, if you take our fishbowl analogy, we have this idea that if things are not going well, let's just treat this with a medication. So I had a patient yesterday, Cade, and he came in with his daughter, and actually one of you referred them over to us. I really appreciate that. And as I was talking to him, I said, "What have you guys been doing?" And he said, "Well, his daughter had this major operation, and then she, her digestive system was damaged from the operation. And then she ended up getting her gallbladder and her appendix removed. And the doctor just was very dismissive. It's a 17-year-old. And the doctor was like, well, you don't need a gallbladder. No big deal. Your appendix, we don't really know what it does. Actually, we do know what it does. In 2016, we realized that that's a reservoir for healthy bacteria that start to colonize the colon when there's been an infection. So, and then with the gallbladder, there was no mention of the fact that, oh yeah, by the way, bile is really important in detoxifying your liver and actually helping you emulsify fat, so you get better fatty acids to the brain. And bile is what helps you make insulin. So, the majority of our patients who are diabetic don't have a gallbladder. And so you've got to really watch your blood sugar. So none of this was discussed. Crazy, right, Cade?
Yeah, just very crazy.
He had no idea that all these things, there's compounding factors from the decisions that were made And so we live in this society, and he started asking me the question. He's like, I actually really just trusted doctors and I trusted the medical model until I've actually been inside of it. And then we explained the history of it. And I said, well, there's this really cool thing called the Flexner Report. And if you guys have never read the Flexner Report, I'd recommend you do it. It was written about 110 years ago, maybe actually 117 years ago. I believe it was 1905. And the Rockefellers actually, put this doctor on to make this report to discredit any medicine that was not allopathic. And so allopathic medicine is, just simply medicine that's chemical based. And so our whole medical model started with this report that then turned into a marketing campaign that, basically blackwashed any medicine that was outside of a chemical medical model. And even if you look at the Rockefellers' history, big funders in the pharmaceutical industry, and they perpetuated a lot of the Hitler regime in World War II because they had access to those chemicals. And that was part of the agreement that they made. So, so one of the things that we're dealing with right now is like, many of you have been off your medications now, or you've minimized the risk of those. But the problem is when we get sick, our mental process, we've been conditioned for over 100 years to believe that we just need to, kind of medicate the fish and clean the water instead of or medicate the fish instead of clean the water. And this creates a lot of interferences. And I had another patient yesterday, and she was complaining of dizziness. And this is a patient in her 80s. And she had two of her kids with her, and it was really cool to see. But I said, what medications are you on? And they started laughing. They're like, oh, we knew you were going to ask this. And as I went through the medications, 13 medications, and more than half of those medications, the number one side effect is dizziness. So then I'm like, well, I don't know if we're treating the dizziness or we're actually, treating you. And so you're going to have to work with your primary care doctor and figure out which of these medications you can safely get off, so we can see if it's just the medication, because no sense in treating something where it could be the medication causing the problem. So one of the concepts we've always had, and this is why I got into natural medicine, is let's clean the tank. And so one of the processes that happens when you do these deep ketamine treatments and these deep state relaxation periods where you access your subconscious mind, it's a way of cleansing the fishbowl. Because, Cade, how many belief systems would you say you've stacked on in your life that are probably not supportive? I mean, there's the known and there's the unknown. But if you looked at what you knew 10 years ago versus what you know now, how many of beliefs have you had to let go of just in the last 10 years?
Lots. Just in the last 6 months, had to ditch a few. So yeah, I think it's like a whole evolving thing, and like just the game of life, or however you want to refer to it as, is as things change and evolve, and as we find out new discoveries and new innovations, it's a lot of things that maybe they were true or they were partially true, we discover, oh, it's actually this way. Just to your point around the gallbladder, it's like, there's huge changes. Just like I remember growing up, it was like, or no, it was the appendix. Like, oh, your appendix burst, it's not a big deal. Like, you just take it out of there. It's no problem. You just have a little scar under there.
Yeah. Amber, our sister, had her appendix removed when she was, I think 16, maybe 5. Actually, no, she was younger than that. She was like 13 or 14.
Yeah, I was really young when that happened.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, but yeah, it's the same thing. And so if we don't start looking at things holistically, once again, you don't know what you're leaving on the table, and you have no idea how much health that's available until you actually access these parts. So one of the things with this is we're going to be decoding your labs. So there's a whole thing that we want to do in this retreat is we're going to actually help you understand what your lab values mean. So everybody who comes in will be running tests on you. If you've already had your blood work ran, which several of you have, then that's not a problem. We'll just use that. But part of what's included in this is a test, either the blood test, or we're going to do the true age test, the PACE test. And so the PACE test is where we actually look at not just your telomeres, but we also look at, we also look at the Horvath clock. So these are methylation pathways on your DNA. There's 850,000 of those. And so what we're going to do is do a deep dive into your biological age and see where the deficiencies are and where the interferences are creating more inflammation, what's causing the tiredness in your body. So when we do this as a group, the beautiful thing is I'll be explaining all the concepts, and I've done this 3 different times, and it's been super successful. People learn so much more, and it's so much faster when there's group learning. And so there's going to be a lot of deep science on day 2, or, you're going to access your subconscious brain. Then you're going to learn about your physiology. We'll have some integration time on that, that Thursday morning. But then the next thing that's going to happen is you're going to see how some of these peptides work. So I'm going to show you what we call the longevity roadmap. And then we're going to help you understand deeply the peptides that you've been on. We'll also have this beautiful process where you can, utilize some of the peptides, and there'll be IVs. Everyone gets a vitamin IV. There's also going to be Chinese medicine. So you get acupuncture. You'll learn how to read your pulse, learn how to look at your tongue in a whole new way. So this is something I've never taught to anyone but providers. And so you're actually going to get a front row seat to understanding your biology in new ways that you've never, had access to before. So Cade, what do you've seen me teach, Chinese medicine and acupuncture, years ago. I don't teach it nearly as much as I used to, but what do you think that they can get out of this? The person who's looking to really master their body, looking to upgrade their energy, their mental clarity, and their vitality, what do you think is in it for them?
I think all of those things are in it for them. Is really education is one of the biggest things you can get, and I think you're going to get really well educated. That it's been such a cool experience to be able to work with you, Regan, throughout the whole evolution of East West and Go Wellness, and be a part of that whole thing, and just learning different insights on different points in the body that you can use to stimulate to create massive improvements. What are little hacks or things that you can do to just tweak whether it's your physiology, your energy, your mindset. All of those things are just so incredible. And so I think when you wrap it all with that, as well as some of the treatments and like the really cool, innovative treatments that we're going to be facilitating at that retreat, I think that alone is just massively valuable. And then you add in some of the teaching and education and who you get to hang out with as far as a community goes. Oh, it's going to be such a cool experience. I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, it'll be amazing. So the other thing that's going to happen at the retreat is you're going to get some energetic treatments. So there's vitamin IVs, but there's peptides. We'll also put you on the beamer, which is a great way. It's a pulse electronic magnetic field. And then you'll meet with either Jenny or Tristan, and everybody's getting their Fitness 50 benchmark. So this would be really fun, because in the afternoon, what happens is the entire East-West team comes in. The morning's going to be a lot more like learning and experiential, and you sharing your experiences in your peak state integration. You're going to be doing worksheets to help you plant goals for your future. So we're going to help you pull in that 10-year future self now, using Benjamin Hardy's terms. You're going to get some great books. Obviously, the curriculum, you're going to get an equivalent of a master's degree in just a short amount of time of your own physiology and your own biology with some of the testing we'll do. But then in the afternoon is where it gets really fun, because the entire team will come and we'll be working with you one-on-one, talking to you about your labs and about next steps in your progression in health. And then you'll be getting some great coaching and a functional movement assessment, and then you'll get your fitness 50 benchmark. So you'll learn from the best. Tristan is amazing. He'll put you through that. I know some of you have already met with Tristan. Jenny is amazing at that too. You're going to have Sarah and Heather doing acupuncture, vitamin IVs, PEMF. And then the other cool thing that we're going to have is Dr. Steinley will be there doing regenerative medicine. So part of what's included, if for those of you who are like, man, I really need to get my joints fixed. Well, we're doing as a group, I can purchase in bulk the regenerative medicine therapies. And so if you're thinking about getting your knees done or shoulders, or just some type of upgrade for your brain or your body with the regenerative medicine, we'll have that available at a very discounted rate at that event too, because we're purchasing in bulk. So some really exciting things. And then the way we finish up, once you guys have gone through your recovery sessions, you'll have light therapy. We'll show you how to use Normatec. Some of you already have those. We love the Normatec. But then the way we finish up is we're going to have this beautiful awards ceremony and talk about your next 10 years. So it'll be pretty darn fun. Just a little bit about Bob and Stephanie. They both utilize their medical expertise to create a journeys experience. And so if you haven't listened to that podcast, listen to the last one, because it's pretty phenomenal what they're doing, because once again, we're doing physiology and biology. You'll have a mastermind, so you're going to be in a creative state, learning with others about how you can accelerate your energy, your vitality, how to create better goals for yourself. So once again, you'll have over $10,000 worth of age reversal services to choose from. Functional blood analysis. If you've already had that, then we're going to do the true age PACE test. You'll get regenerative medicine, amazing therapies there. Peak state experience with ketamine. You're going to get your fitness 50 plan. And then beyond that, it's not just like it stops at the retreat, but you're going to have 4 one-on-ones. So we want to make sure that what happens at the retreat, it sets you on the right track. And we're going to be hosting these retreats. They'll be once a month. We'll be encouraging people to come back and do these retreats quarterly. I think a quarterly upgrade is so powerful. You'll have accelerated nutritional plans. So we'll put everything together for you, vitamin IVs, peptides. And then I think the most important thing is going to be new friends and new relationships that you make here. So for those of you who are interested, it's a very simple process. All you need to do is apply today. And we've already got several of you who are just waiting for the date, and we will get that date. But what we're doing is we're coordinating groups of people. These groups won't be any bigger than 10. So if you have a spouse or a loved one, or maybe a son or a daughter who you'd love to have experience better health and better vitality, well, get them signed up. And this is what you're going to have is increased energy, better vitality, feeling and looking younger. So a lot of people have asked, can you do my hair, my face? Can that be my regenerative medicine work? Yeah, absolutely. And Amy does amazing at that. You're going to have improved DNA health, increased libido and sexual function, eat less, feel better, and then fully customized nutrition plans. So how does it work? All you got to do is meet with our retreat specialist. That's Tucker and Misha, and have a life-changing experience. So you'll also meet with our medical provider. So Dr. Borelli and Dr. Coleman, what they require is before we put you through the peak experience state, they just want to, they'll do some conversations with you, so you can set some really clear intentions about what you'd like to get out of it. And then they'll have follow-up visits that they'll be doing with you too. And this, once again, this will be a life-changing experience. So really excited to announce our retreats, and appreciate all you who have already raised your hand and said, I want to be part of this. And Cade, anything else on the retreats?
Yeah, I put a little message in the chat box here. You can just email us, email retreats to info@acueastwest.com, and you'll be able to fill out an application, or we may ask a couple questions, and then that'll put you in line to once we fully open up that whole thing, you'll have a chance to at least fully apply and get in.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
email us at info@acueastwest.com for all those for to get registered or to get on the list for that. And then we'll be reaching out.
Beautiful. Yes, and this, we do have limited availability, and so once again, these will be held. These events, we limit it to 10 people. Right now, you can, if you are in a program with us, you have an automatic 50% discount off of the overall program. So that's pretty amazing. So do not miss out on that.
Yeah, huge discount.
And for those of you who have been patients in the past, and you're like, well, man, this looks really interesting. Well, I'm sure there's some great things we can work out for you too. But the biggest thing that we want to do is make sure that we get you in if this is the right fit for you. If you say, man, I really am looking for deeper accesses to my healing capabilities, I can think of no better place to do this. This is not for somebody if you're saying, man, I am if you've got some major like schizophrenia or manic depression or bipolar, or things that need heavy medication. If you're thinking about bringing someone, it's probably not the right environment. This is an environment where we want people who are sharing openly, people who have already reached a certain level of health, and you just want to get to that next level. You're looking for that 4 to 5% improvement in your mental power and your capabilities when it comes to physiology. It's for people who are really looking to level up and make the next 10 years the best 10 years. That's for you. And by the way, that I was that same patient who's on the 13 medications that I met with yesterday. I said, look, you've got a lot of life in you, but the problem is the way that you're talking to yourself, because you've been led to believe that when you're at a certain age, life is supposed to be worse, and you're just supposed to die and go be with your spouse or whatever your ideas are. And I said, the only way I can help you is if you change that thinking in your mind. And so one of the big challenges I have is I have not learned how to read minds yet. I don't know if I actually want that power. But if you could go in and just like read someone's mind, then you can easily just pull it up and say, hey, quit thinking like that. That's ridiculous. Like you're beating yourself up for no reason. There's a better way of looking at things. And that's where I think these peak experiences, why I really appreciate all the work that Dr. Borelli and Dr. Coleman have done in this field, is because they're going to bring the best. We're bringing the best of the best, and they bring amazing capabilities so that you can actually start questioning some of your beliefs. And then as you move through those, then we can start changing your physiology. So it's going to be a massive acceleration to a brand new level. Some of the patients that they were talking about that had experiences, they're talking about people who have struggled with depression and anxiety for years, just this low level, and they just popped out of it. People who had PTSD, who, from, whether that was a divorce or a bankruptcy or some stressful experience, and they were able to pop back out of that after having these experiences where, when you have this disassociative state, suddenly you start looking at your life and you see how interconnected everything is and how interconnected we all are to each other. And so the beautiful thing that happens when you do this as a group, it just amplifies the love, amplifies the connection. And then everybody is going to be completely open and sharing and loving the next day, which is why we kick it off at the peak state experience, so that now you have a chance to really do some journaling and get some things out. So there will be some pretty amazing breakthroughs that you'll see here. So get on the the retreat. If you're ready, you've got our email, and you can also text the office 801-582-2011. So Cade, I think that is, we covered some awesome things today. I think we can, I'll save the webinar for next week. There's actually so many details about this retreat that I want to just kind of, I think that this is a good place to finish up. Just so you guys know, on our Health Accelerator Challenge, you're going to see a little more action with Tristan in here. We've got Tristan, Jenny, Andy. And so it's been really fun seeing them. So make sure when you guys have your health accelerator or fitness advisor, health advisor or fitness advisor sessions, make sure you give them a shout out, because they put a lot of work into it. So
For sure. No, awesome. Well, reach out to us if you're looking and want to get involved in the retreat. Either email info@AccuEastWest or call, or you can even text the office and just reference retreats to 801-582-2011. The retreat will be in this, it's at the Salt Lake office, in the teaching center there. Really excited about this, and can't wait. Awesome. And we'll be back same time, same place next week. So you guys get ready we'll be diving into some additional really cool stuff next week. Excited about that. Let's have an awesome one. Thank you everybody for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, Regan.
you got it. Bye-bye.